What's up, everybody? This is Chris, the Knife Charlatan. I want to talk to you today about the CJRB centros. And I want to talk about what happened to me this week. It was Valentine's Day this week. And of course, just like a lovely lady that I have, I was given an awesome present. So I was planning on doing a beat and abuse review for this centros. And what ended up happening was that I carried my Valentine's Day present all weekend. And so I want to show you that. This is the Civivi Chronic in Damasteel with carbon fiber handles and deep carry pocket clip. Super light, 2.5 ounces. Yep, 2.5 ounces. Super buttery smooth action on those ball bearings. Civivi does an excellent job of the ball bearings and the action and just fit and finish and putting it together. This is perfectly centered right out of the box, very sharp right out of the box. Great action right out of the box, and I just couldn't be really more excited. It's just beautiful. And at about $80, I don't see how you could go wrong with this. This is a wonderful, wonderful knife. And I'm very pleased. This is, this is not like a work knife or a hard use knife. This is a night on the town, weekend, maybe a Sunday go to church type of knife. And I couldn't be more happy, and I'm very grateful and pleased that she got that for me. So we'll put that aside just for a minute. And I'll tell you, if you saw my unboxing video, you know that I got these. I got like 4 knives in the mail, and the CJRB centros here was one of them. And originally, I thought that I'd be most excited about the CRKT tuna, and I definitely am excited about that. If you saw the review, I'll tell you that it actually performed better than I thought it would. I'm just being honest. Because of the materials and the blade steel that was used, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's all right. But once I started to use it, I was really impressed. When I unboxed all of these out of the mail, I'll tell you that this one was my surprise favorite. I got it in my hand. I was like, man, this thing is cool right here. This is the one that I like most out of all the ones, just initially handling them. After having carried this for most of the week, I'll tell you that I don't love it as much as I initially did. And the reasons being, well, first of all, I'll go ahead, we'll weigh it. We've got 4 ounces. 4 ounces on it. It is a D2 steel. It is carbon fiber handles. It is a ball bearing pivot. It is deep carry pocket clip. And this is a 3.7 inch blade, 3.7. The handle is going to be just a hair over 4 inches. So it's really a good size for the hand. I have large size hands, and you see I have a little bit of handle sticking out on the back. So that's a really good size for my hand. I'll say that the carbon fiber is not quite what I was hoping for. It looks great, but I'll say that it's very slick. It's very slippery. There's like no texture whatsoever on that. And this is honestly the first time I've heard people say that before. They don't like carbon fiber because it's so slick. But this is the first time that I've actually handled a carbon fiber knife that is this slick. And I see what they're saying now. Like, that's, if I had it to do over again, I'd probably get the G10 for the, for the texture. And, you know, like, this is cool. I do love carbon fiber, but I think that it could have been executed just a little bit better. The, if I can get that to focus, right around the pivot pin. Oh, come on. Let's see here. Right around the pivot pin, it's, yeah, there we go. It's a little bit like imperfect. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just the hole is not really clean. It's just a little imperfect. And out of the box, the centering was really good, but you know, I started to fidget with it. I started to flick it open and close, and it did not take long before the center screw, the pivot screw, started to back out. And it's just all of a sudden the centering went wonky and the blade started to scrape on the I could hear it, you know, as it closed. And I was like, what in the world? So I took it out, I took it apart, and I cleaned it and put a little oil in it and put it back together, put some Loctite on it. And so that was kind of like, well, you know, whatever. I wasn't really impressed with that the screw had no Loctite on it whatsoever and that it backed out like that. But, you know, I'm perfectly capable enough to put some Loctite on it and go on about my business. It's just one of those things that's like, well. That being said, you know, it's a $40 knife. And not that I want to take away from the value of $40, because $40 is $40. But it kind of got me to thinking, like, what is it that $40 buys you in the knife world? And prime example, I already did the review on the tuna. Now, it doesn't have the same materials. It has a G10 scale, and it has a 8CR steel instead of the D2. And so for $40 here, I got carbon fiber handles, I got a D2 blade, and I got ball bearing pivots. I will say that the ball bearings are not the most quality looking pivot bearings that, you know, I've ever seen. And truthfully, you know, they're not like butter smooth. I mean, it's pretty good. The detent's great, so the blade rockets out. I mean, it's a really fast blade. It does work good, but you know, you can say you have ball bearings in this, and that's all. Real world, the tuna on its Teflon washers, its Teflon bushings, is probably just as good, if not better than this. So, you know, and it's $45. I feel like the trade-off is that, yeah, I got these cool materials that theoretically I like, but on the other hand, with the CRKT, I've got what I feel like is a superior execution of a product. Like, I just feel like they just did a better job producing it. So for $40 or $45, thereabouts, in the same ballpark of money, what I really have is two knives that perform really similarly. Truthfully, they perform really similar. So for about $45, $45, you can have a knife that does a good job of cutting stuff and hopefully looks cool. You know, hopefully you buy something that's a design that appeals to your eye and looks cool. Because that's, I mean, let's be real. That's part of it. I want something that looks cool. Who doesn't? You know, I realize that we buy tools that perform a certain way, or that perform a certain function, but part of it is purely aesthetics. Part of it is just that we buy stuff that looks good to us. And, you know, I dare anybody to say otherwise. That's just fact of the matter. So, you know, Yes, it has carbon fiber. Yes, it has D2 steel. Yes, it has ball bearing pivots. But is it really better than something else that has, you know, a G10 handle and Teflon bushings and, you know, an 8CR steel? I don't know. In this case, in this particular case where when I'm comparing this knife in my hand, the Centros, the CJRB centros, to the CRKT tuna, no, they're about the same, and they're about the same price. So, would I rather have the carbon fiber in D2? I'm not sure I can answer that. You know, I'm not sure. I do love carbon fiber. In this case, I'm not loving it. It's too slippery. It's okay. I can say that I have carbon fiber and that's it. Is the D2, does it perform better than the 8CR? Marginally. But as I was using them in the tuna review, I compared not the Centros, but the tiaga. I compared the way they were cutting. You know, I did a rope cut test, and I thought that they performed really similarly. So we've got an 8CR performing in the same ballpark as a D2. I find that interesting. But then again, you know, they're in the same price range. So what do you get for $45? You get a pretty cool knife that does a good job. That's what you get. So really, I think it's just a matter of looking around and finding what you know, what looks good. Now, what I have here, of course, I showed you my Valentine's Day present because I love this, and I can't wait to, you know, do a little more with this. I'll probably do a more in-depth review of it. I just wanted to show you why that we're not having footage of me beating on this thing. It's because I've been carrying this all weekend, because it's Valentine's Day, and because this is awesome. You know, me as a knife lover, as a knife addict, if you will, I'm always, you know, wanting to carry a different knife for different reasons, just depending on the day, just depending on whatever. I pulled this out. This is another civivi that I have. This is the naja, a flipper that also has ball bearings. And the reason that I pulled this out is because I think that civivi actually did a better job on the ball bearing aspect than CJRB. I mean, this is pretty cool. It does make kind of a weird noise when you close it. Whoop. I never really had a knife that made that noise before. So, you know, that's weird. This one's about 50. But still, they're in the same ballpark. So, I just wanted to bring this up because here's two Chinese companies making knives for a budget price point. And in this case, I think Civivi's done a superior job with their ball bearing pivots. This is pretty good, but it's not great. It's not fantastic. It's not blowing my mind. I also wanted to say something about this, is that I took it to work. I carried it for most of the week, and I found that it's a weird, I think it's in a weird category. And that is that because of the tip, because of how, you know, pointy and delicate that tip is, I don't necessarily want to do everything that I would normally do with the knife at work. This is robust. I mean, it's pretty substantial. We'll take a look at the spine. We're looking at 0.08 inches. So we're at, you know, 80 thousandths of an inch on the spine. What is that in 2.2 millimeters? You know, it's okay. It's not like it's not super thick. But, you know, it's not super thin either. It feels like a meaty, robust knife. But again, I don't want to do everything that I would normally do with a knife at work. So, okay. So it's not really a work knife, exactly. Well, what is it? Is it a gentleman's knife? I don't know about that either. It's pretty big. It's 3.7 inches. Depending on where you live, might be illegal. It's 4 ounces. 4 or 4.1. You know, so it's not the heaviest knife in the world, but it's also not that light either. How would this do in a pair of slacks, in a suit pants? It might be a little heavy. Yeah, it's got a deep carry pocket clip, but I don't know. This doesn't seem like something I'd want to wear in a pair of suit pants. This is like maybe just a weekender going out shopping type of knife. You know, maybe you like it just because it looks cool, and that's okay. So long as, you know, if it's not illegal where you live. In Tennessee, where I live, it's not illegal. I can carry pretty much anything I want to. Tennessee knife laws are great. You know, I think they were changed in 2014. Us Tennesseans get to carry pretty much whatever. So, you know, so it's cool. But what's it for? That's the real question. I'm just not sure that it has a place in my rotation. I do think it looks cool. You know, I like the way the carbon fiber looks. I'm just not in love with this knife. And it's not necessarily anything against CJRB. It's just, I don't know. I'm just not in love with it. That's all. But I am still going to beat on it. Don't worry. Still going to beat on it. We'll still get to see what it can do. I just, I don't know that I would carry this knife after I'm done with the testing and with the reviewing. I may end up giving this one away. So, just in case you haven't liked this video or subscribed to my channel, you may want to do that, because there's a very real possibility that I could give this away, if that's something that you're interested in. So, anyway, CJRB Chronic Civivi. Nope, I'm sorry. This is the Centros. The Civivi Chronic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to see more of that one. And then, only for the sake of comparing the ball bearing pivots, I pulled out the civivi naja. This is a pretty big. See, I would work with this. I wouldn't mind doing anything to this. This, the Centros, just a little too pointy. A little too slender for all of the working purposes, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. You know, maybe that's something that you needed to know before you decided to buy one of these or not to buy one of these. That's what we're here for. So, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and catch you on the next one.